What is going on, people? It's Matt from Liquid Loans. And in this video, in this live stream, I have a beast of a content creator. Every time I turn YouTube on, he's streaming with someone somewhere. I mean, I don't think the guy sleeps. So with no further ado, let me intro Brandon from Rags to Riches.
Matt, what's up, brother?
What is going on, buddy? How are you? Thank you for coming on the stream.
Dude, absolutely, man. I was telling you, dude, I'm giving you a lot of props. You're really turning up your production value, dude. You guys are doing really good work, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, we're trying, and collaborating with other great content creators like you is helping a lot. And I want to say I really appreciate your work. Every time I turn on YouTube, you're streaming with Crypto Panda, Crypto Heartbeat, Crypto Stylist. I think you had a personal trainer on yesterday.
Yep.
Who you were talking to. So yeah, really good work, man. And thanks a lot for making time, because I know you're a busy guy.
Absolutely. I love it, man. That's what I do.
Wicked, man. So for the people that don't know who you are, for the one person in the audience, maybe we could get a little bit of background about you.
Yeah, my bio, I created my Coinbase account in 2014. I forgot about my Coinbase account for 2 or 3 years like everybody else did.
Yeah.
The run up in 2017, I lost a lot of money. I thought I was smart. I'm dumb. 2018, 2017 crash came. And that's when I said, well, I could give up now, or I could learn about like what I did wrong. So I learned about what I did wrong. I built a solid portfolio when there was a fire sale, 95% off everything at the bottom of that market, and then wrote it up and then said, well, maybe I can teach some other people how to do it. I set up a Telegram channel with 2 or 3 people. Nice. And then they kept inviting people, and Rags to Riches Telegram was born. And then I found Hex. And essentially, I've been creating content for Hex since 2021, and here we are, man. That's the short and skinny. And I barely graduated high school. That's all.
Yeah, man. I love the way you tell everyone not to subscribe at the end of your videos. Don't like, don't comment, don't subscribe.
Well, yeah, I'm like the it's like the Howie test for YouTubers, man. I don't want to set any expectations whatsoever.
Nice, man. Nice. So how did you find Hex, by the way? How did you get into the Hex Pulse ecosystem?
Yeah, I guess I was on Twitter, and Twitter was targeting me with Richard Hart content. He had the top hat on, so I followed him because he was entertaining. And I tell people that I'm watching him. He's not convincing me, and I'm just watching. And I'm like, who is this guy? This is BS. And while I'm watching him and trying to make up my mind, everybody's getting rich, and I'm not. So eventually, I think I saw a couple live streams with him where he's absolutely destroying everybody. And the straw that broke the camel's back was what came out with Alex Saunders, because that stream was different because Richard proved that this guy was a fraud and a hack, and it wasn't just some accusation. And then you had people like Bitboy come out, yeah, he stole money from me, and then you see that New Zealand's after him. You see that Australian federal authorities are after him, and all this came out. I said, all right, this guy's legit. And I lost a lot of money because I couldn't make my mind up. So I tell people that bell curve, I am dead center in the bell curve. Not smart, guys. Not smart here.
Yeah, I mean, that was brutal. And
it was.
The truth always comes out in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that guy had some other stuff going on. Like he might have been associated with some bad actors in real life.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the guy has got some skeletons in the closet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Someone you just mentioned as well, Bitboy. I saw you reposted that something today about him no longer doing sponsored videos. What's your take on that?
So here's the thing about Bitboy. A lot of people hate Bitboy. If you're part of this community, you kind of see through it. So there's 2 sides of this. Bitboy has onboarded a whole lot of people into crypto, but I think Bitboy is also responsible for jacking up a whole lot of people in crypto. But at the same time, I will say this: Bitboy has done quite a bit to onboard people in crypto to the RH ecosystem. And how? Because he's talked about PulseChain, not directly, but he's mentioned it. He's had arguments with his co-producer about it. PulseX, Hex, all that. And he has a sizable following, right? So he's not afraid to talk about it per se. He's afraid to go all in on it. And I think that was probably because of the advertisers that was supporting his show. Yeah. In my mind, now that he's cut out those advertisers, there's not like a master-slave relationship there. And I think that what we're seeing are the beginnings of him turning turning to the light side, let's just say. And if you notice, Richard Hart was also saying, like, guys, take it easy on this guy. You know, you don't know the whole situation. Sure, this has happened. Sure, that has happened, but maybe take it easy. So I think he's got a little relationship with Ben, and I would like to see those followers, you know, be used for some really good things in our ecosystem for sure. They'll learn a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely got a massive following. I'm not sure you saw. I mean, this is the last thing I'll talk about this, but someone put up a Excel spreadsheet of the returns on the things that he shilled. It wasn't good.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of them. I watched him because you go on YouTube and that's what YouTube does. They feed you the content that you think you need to see. So everybody's seen him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, going from the dark to the light, what made you start making content and helping other people?
I was tired of answering questions in my YouTube chat or my Telegram chat. I was like, the same question over and over. I'm like, screw this. This is not a good use of my time. Let me be more efficient. I'll make a video. I'll answer questions that way, and then I'll send people to my YouTube channel. So that's how it started. So I was talking about, I was talking about like simple trading strategies, like swing trading, long-term type stuff, entry points, etc. When to find the bottom of a market, when's the best time to buy at the bottom of a market, when to sell, all that type of stuff. And then I was like, you know what, this is kind of enjoyable. So let me talk about government and crypto, and let me make those connections, and just started doing stuff that I liked to do. And that's also where that was born. Like, do not like, comment, and subscribe, because I don't care what you think about my content. I'm going to make it because I like it. And that's how that happened, dude. So,
well, that's why you're doing so well, because you're authentic, right? You're not here with a Bybit link, and
right.
you're not putting on a fake persona like Alex Saunders. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Trying to be Mr. Oh, I've got a wife and kids and I'm Mr. Respectable, but really I'm stealing people's Bitcoins and not paying them
It's
back.
horrible, man. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah. It's a weird space.
It is. It was it's been a fun ride, man. It's been a real fun ride. Like, they always tell people, you know, you don't necessarily want to compete with other people. You just want to build your own world out. And the neat thing about YouTube, and the neat thing about social media and the internet is, and I say this all the time too, you walk into a room with 10 people and you might say something controversial and 9 people hate you, but that one person likes you and they want to follow you, right? Well, now we scale that to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, 10 million people that you can reach online. And that one person in that room, that 10%, turns into 10,000, turns into 100,000, turns into a million eventually. And then you have an audience, and it doesn't matter, right? So that's why creating content and going online is so important, because you can find people that enjoy your content, and you enjoy making it without having to sell out.
Yep, it's true. Number one rule in marketing: don't be boring, don't be vanilla.
That's right. You're right about that.
So we're in a bit of a weird time. Not a weird time, but PulseChain, 2 more months. Everyone's like, when's it going to come out? Lots of speculation. What's your thoughts on what's going on, and when do you think it might pop off mainnet wise?
I think that first and foremost, for people that are here right now, for people that are watching this stream, for people that watch any content about Hex or RH or anything, I think that you have been afforded an opportunity that 99% of crypto has not been afforded, and maybe about 90% of crypto has never been afforded. Well, what do you mean by that, Brandon? You are in projects that are going to be day one projects, not only one, multiple projects. The best time to get into crypto is at the genesis, and it's especially helpful if it's not a meme coin. It's especially helpful if it's a reputable team with good social media, with a strong following, and we've got all of those. Our problem right now is too much opportunity. What a horrible problem to have, right?
Losing sleep over all the opportunities.
Losing sleep, man. So it's like, what an incredible blessing right now for everybody. What an incredible blessing, because all you have to do is not nuke your account. Just stay alive and keep accumulating, and you're going to win. You're going to win. It's beautiful. So we are in a weird time. We're waiting. How long? I would say 6 to 8 weeks. I would imagine. And then it's off the races.
Yeah, I think so too. I think 6 to 8 weeks. What Rich has been posting, there's still stuff to do, but it doesn't seem monumental. So
Correct.
exciting. What's going to be your play when Pulse goes live? What strategies are you going to deploy or not deploy?
I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to practice what I've taught my Telegram group, before I even got into Hex and Pulse, which is accumulate through dollar cost averaging.
Yep.
All right.
Smart.
There's a lot of people that are like, what am I going to do with the first minute of Pulse launch, the first hour, the first day, etc. In the grand scheme of things, if you look at any chart at the beginning, Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You could definitely try to time a bottom and get lucky and catch it, and that's going to pay off really well. But I don't have the freaking time to worry about that stuff. I just know that if I go to a financial advisor and I say I want to make a lot of money in the traditional stock market, he doesn't tell me, "Hey, sit down, buddy. I'm going to teach you how to day trade." He doesn't say that. He says, "Let's come up with a plan. Let's stay in the market, time in the market, not timing the market, and let's make you a lot of money." So that's what I do with crypto, and it works out very well. So at first, I was really worried about PulseX dumping on day one because of the message that RH was sending out about, if you don't have exposure to PulseChain, maybe you want to sacrifice for PulseX, get those multipliers, and then on day one, you can swap it over for Pulse. That was what worried me, but with what he said yesterday about being able to stake the PulseX coin with no risk.
Yeah.
That is massive. That is super massive, man. So I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked about that for so many different reasons. You don't have to provide liquidity. There's just not a lot of risk, and that's especially helpful for new folks.
That's true. Yeah, that single-sided staking is always going to be attractive, right? Because you don't have to provide two pairs or anything like that. And do you think that do you think that he made it like that, so it's more attractive to hold on to that coin than just to dump it for Pulse?
I almost think that the narrative that he may or may not have accidentally created, and RH, you're probably going to watch this. I can't speak for what's in your head, but maybe that narrative grabbed a hold of people a little bit too much, and there always are bad actors that try to take advantage of that type of thing. And maybe he said, well, let's try to counter that. He countered it with a really brilliant idea, because you go to most exchanges and your incentive token is actually the token that you're staking. Well, what's the problem with that? The problem is people are going to get that incentive token, they're going to accumulate it, and they're going to dump it. It's going to dump the price of the token that you're staking. Well, that doesn't make sense. So let's air gap those, right? We'll create an incentive token that has nothing to do with the token that you're staking. That way, if you sell off the incentive token, it's not going to affect the token that you're staked, which is brilliant. In fact, if you sell off that incentive token, you're probably going to buy more PulseX or Pulse or Liquid, loan or whatever the case may be. So I think it was a really, really smart play, and it caters to people that don't have a lot of experience in terms of providing liquidity. I like it.
Yeah, I think any staking protocol where you're not inflating the supply, because anything that, you inflate the supply, you're going to have to sell it at some point, and there'll be some sell pressure. And that's similar to the loan token, where you're not actually getting more loan token. As we know, PulseX is non-inflationary. So it's a smart move for tokenomics. It's a smart move for getting people to hold on to that token.
Absolutely.
And it's making things even more interesting by the day. So what are you you're bullish on many things. What are you most bullish on when it comes to the whole PulseChain ecosystem?
Dude, I love, and I'm going to tell my folks this: Liquid Loans offered me nothing to be on here. In fact, I'm going to grill the hell out of them here in about 6 or 7 hours. We got an AMA. I want y'all to bring the heat, bring the fire. But I will say that I think that Liquid Loans is going to be an extremely good ambassador for PulseChain. I think that initially, you're going to set the example for projects that are onboarding. So I'm very bullish on Liquid Loans. And again, I've not been offered anything for this opinion whatsoever. I assure you guys, I trust the team. And that's big to me. That's actually number one. you and Hodprol and Hexacat and Jexa and Jesse, especially Jesse.
Yeah.
So that's important to me. Now, whether or not you guys succeed, that just depends on stuff that's out of my control. But the thing that is in my control is my ability to make a judgment call about you guys, and I think that's important. So I'm bullish on that. I'm really interested to see what the folks over at Pulseverse _IO, pulseverse.io. There are
Okay.
going to be some NFT folks on the PulseChain too, and I think they have a really, really good, honest team as well. I'm excited to see what that does. Hedron, I'm very excited about those folks too. They have similarities to your project as well, and I think I think it solves a problem that a lot of folks wanted solved. Again, I want everybody to succeed. Statistically speaking, everybody may not succeed, but
Yep.
I don't have control over that. So we don't have a tremendous amount of projects yet, but I think that the projects that we do have, they're going to be really good, man. Really good ambassadors.
Yeah, man. It's an exciting time, and PulseChain is not even live yet, and all these different projects are just bubbling up away, and it's just like it's kind of like a pressure cooker building up, and then it's just waiting to explode, which is like you said before, anyone who's sacrificed or is waiting for PulseChain and PulseX and liquid loans and all this stuff is, you're in a unique time, and it's just what a crazy place to be. And people could be listening to other channels, but thank God, me, you, and everyone watching this is in the PulseChain ecosystem, because I think there's a lot more. Not only win-win situations with people and honest and people that are into more delayed gratification, but there's just a lot more growth than something like the stuff that's being shilled on, crypto YouTube and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on some of the liquid loan strategies? Have you seen some of those?
Yeah, I've seen some of the liquid loan strategies. I've seen Haunted and I've seen Hodprol. I've seen a couple others. I actually reached out to Jesse and I had him explain to me Hodprol's strategy, and that I like that strategy quite a bit actually. So that would it's a lot. I think it's a lot less risk for me in terms of my risk tolerance.
Yeah.
And that's what appeals to me. And again, I'm that type of person. I don't want to get sucked into being freaked out when the market's diving.
Yeah.
I want a way out. I want mobility. And I think her strategy kind of provides that for me. Maybe you can are you familiar with that strategy?
Yeah. So that's more around the loan token than anything else. And I think stability pool, loan token. And yeah, it's definitely not. I'm not saying really any of them are really risky, but it's quite a stable strategy, especially if the market's looking bearish. So is that the one that you'd lean to? Well, I guess it's depending on what's going on as well, right, in the market.
It's preference too. It's what's going on. It's preference. It's all sorts. And here's the thing: I don't have to just use one. I can use both if I need to. We can come up with that equilibrium there. So, but that just appealed to me just off the bat, for sure. And I just like the whole concept of liquid loans, because every other financial market, every other market in general, has the ability to leverage your assets and collateralize those, and it's just it's great, man. I love it.
Why not crypto, right? It's been going on for years in legacy finance. You can do it with your house, with real estate, with land. And, as we know, crypto is not going anywhere. People see value in these assets. So why not use them as collateral and hold on to your best performing asset while it goes up and to the right over time?
It makes sense.
For sure. For sure. PulseChain, it's great that we're, the community is so strong and we're all, streaming with each other and stuff. But obviously we need to get outside that at some point. What are your thoughts on getting adoption outside of the PulseChain and the Hexagon community? Do you think there's strategies, or it's going to happen automatically?
I think that the people who are creating content right now are staring on the edge of a cliff into a void of success. What do I mean by that? I mean that when PulseChain launches and these other influencers across all sorts of places find out that all they have to do is change the settings in MetaMask, that's going to be a massive value add for those influencers, because they can let their 1,000 subscribers or their 100,000 subscribers know, hey, just change the setting real quick. Congratulations. I just gave you a tremendous amount of free money. You didn't hear it from anywhere else except here.
Mm.
And it makes them look really, really good. But so what's going to happen from that? You're going to have a massive amount of algorithmic leverage. All those people are going to pour into our ecosystem, and they're going to get in contact with our influencers, with our projects, etc. And that's going to be, we're going to have an exponential rise in subscribers across, I think, all content creators because of that reason. And I think that this is, we say that, Hex and other projects, they're like an economic black hole. It just sucks all that energy in. I think that PulseChain is going to do that. And I think that Twitter, I think that YouTube, I think that Facebook, all these other social media platforms, there are heavy lifting. As soon as it hits, it's just going to go exponential. So I think it's going to happen naturally. What other things can we do right now? I'm a big believer in not being lukewarm. Okay. I don't want to pander to people that are in different projects, and I don't want to be apologetic about my opinions on where I'm at. So I think being unapologetic, it comes across is very genuine to people. And when we have folks that come in from other places, preaching our message very, very strongly and not bending or breaking in that message is going to mean a whole lot to a lot of people who come in. And I think it's just going to make our community much stronger when that message is pretty streamlined. It's pretty streamlined amongst all of our influencers too. That's the really neat thing. I think it's trickled down from RH. He's kind of re-educated folks, and it's helped quite a bit.
100%. I mean, what's different from, the Pulse community, the Hex community, is that we're not shilling certain links, Bybit links, leverage trading, meme coin of the month. So, I don't see any fake hexagons, you know what I mean? Or pulsicons. Everyone who's streaming is doing it because they love the project. They believe in it. They want to get the word out there. And of course, everyone's holding some of the assets. So of course they want their bags to go up and to the right. Let's not pretend everyone's Mother Teresa, but it's a different community 100% to what's out there already. And I think, like you said, people will see that, they'll see the maturity and they'll see the authenticity. And I think that's going to attract a lot of people to it. And
we've got a great immune system too.
That's true.
Great immune system. When I first started, how many people are just looking at me like, who the F is this guy? Who is this guy right now? Can we trust him? Hit me up in my DMs. When did you say you got in? What day was it? How long have you been making content? When did you say your Coinbase account was set up? So it's like we have a really great immune system. We really protect our own, and that's important too. That's something that I've never seen. Never seen the amount of skepticism for somebody that's new. And it really is like a pathogen in a body. We got to check this thing out here. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess people have been burnt before, right? And obviously, like you said, it trickles down from RH.
Yeah.
He's always telling everyone, listen, if it seems too good to be true, it's a scam and what's not. So, and you should question it, right? You shouldn't just jump in with both feet without doing your own research, reading white papers and questioning. So that's good. It's good to have some healthy skepticism for sure. So do you think in regards to PulseChain, because, there's DeFi out there, there's DeFi and then there's DeFi, right? There's admin keys, there's lots of other stuff going on. They say they're DeFi, but they're not. Do you think when PulseChain goes live, that just swallows it up? Like you talked about a black hole already. Do you think PulseChain just swallows up the rest of DeFi and everyone just runs here? Or
so I think that, again, let's look at parabolic growth on a chart. At first, it's flat, right? So maybe instead of us talking in terms of like 5, 10, 20 years, maybe we talk in terms of 3 to 6 months. 3, 6, 9, 12 months, etc. Maybe for the first 12 months, our curve is just kind of slow, right? I think that in conjunction with the next bull run and in conjunction with the hype and the massive amount of dopamine levels that are across all the influencers in the space, I think that's when we're really going to take off. And one thing that people may or may not understand, our liquidity is going to be tied back much closer to the market at large now, because wrapped ETH, back to Bitcoin, etc. So when the market's really pumping, I think PulseChain is going to pump harder than anything else. I think that's when we're going to see the really cool stuff. So I think we're going to be flat and gradually increasing. And then I think it's just going to boom, take off at the advent of the next bull run for sure. Maybe 12, 18 months, etc.
Sure.
Maybe we're maybe the Bitcoin's top. Maybe that happens in the next 12 months. Yeah, 2023 Q4 this year potentially. Maybe not. Maybe it crashes. But I'm really looking for that period of time to be the most influential. You look at any chart, you can have coins that run 100x in 3 months. You can have coins that run 1000x in 3 or 6 months. So it's those small chunks of time in the grand scheme of things that really, really drive adoption for chains.
Sure. So you think we're in a full-on bear market at the moment?
I personally think that we're not in a bear market full on. I don't think so. I think that we're going to 30,000 has been defended very, very, very strongly, at least 6 or 7 times. And we're in a trend right now that if you zoom out on the crypto market cap at large, or even Bitcoin, it's a very, very bullish structure on the daily, the weekly, the monthly. And people for some reason just they're not paying attention to that. We just made a higher low with Bitcoin. And I know that goes against everything that's being said. I think that this we've got a much bigger ship now. And when things drop, it takes a whole lot longer now for them to turn around, just because economic energy is very heavy. We've got a lot of it. I think we go into late 2022, 2023. I think we see Bitcoin pump, actually. We can still see a fall down. I don't see us going much lower than maybe 20 to 25K. That goes into the lower moving averages, and I see a bounce from there. So we'll see.
And obviously it's better, isn't it, if PulseChain launches, in a bear market?
That's been my argument. I think that it is better. And that's for a variety of reasons. But yeah, PulseChain launching in a bear market would be very, very advantageous, especially, here's the key, especially launching in a bear market with the community that we have, because we could actually be the shining beacon in a bear market.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I think that we would be. I don't think that we would be destroyed as the rest of the market at large. And if we are, we'll pop back pretty quick, because we have a huge solid foundation of well-educated people in crypto, and that has to count for something.
Yeah, for sure. And like every day, it looks like more people are learning about it through those Twitter spaces and these kind of tweet storms. So, it's definitely growing. Do you think a lot of these ETH bros just come over to dump their coins and NFTs, and then they're like, what the fuck? 3-second blocks and stuff like that?
It's all going to depend on the influencers, man, because you got to understand those ETH bros, they follow these guys every single day. They wait for that notification bell to pop up. And whatever these guys are telling them to do, they're going to do. I just hope that YouTube suggests some videos from people that know what they're talking about. And we've got a lot of people here that know what they're talking about. If that happens, then they'll be onboarded. But I think it's really going to take hold when you get 1 or 2 major influencers, let's say like 500,000 to 1.5 million followers, go all in on this and say, hey, I'm supporting this. Once that happens, you guys seen the video about the one guy that goes to the festival and everybody's hanging out on the lawn, and one guy starts dancing and everybody's staring at him. But the second guy that hits, that's validation for the first guy. Everybody sees it, boom, and then they pile in. That's what's going to happen. It'll happen quick. That's why I'm targeting Bitboy. I'm going to call that. I think that Bitboy is going to turn around this year. I think he really is. And once he does, I think a lot of people will too.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Well, maybe, he hasn't got a choice. He has to stop doing sponsored content, but I guess he's still going to be making money from YouTube adverts and his links and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, once one person, says, okay, this is it, I'm going in on this, I think the floodgates open. Because I remember when, I switched and I started unfollowing all these, gurus, whatever you want to call them, and then just started following hexagons and pulsecons. And, it was kind of like waking up, right? Like, oh my God, I thought I'd found crypto, but actually I hadn't. There was, there's always, you have to go down the rabbit hole even deeper to find more. So
yeah,
I think,
I mean, as the network grows, here's another thing. We don't, let's not just think about like, let's not think about one influencer in the community. Let's think about the cumulative total of followers that all of the influencers in this community have.
Mm.
You got to like, I've got 6,000 subs on YouTube right now. I expect in probably 2 or 3 years time, I'll probably at least 10x that. But
Mm.
not only I'll 10x that, other people will 10x that and better. So in terms of the footprint that we have in YouTube and crypto at large, we're gonna be getting a lot of love from YouTube, man, and that's important to know. So if you're creating content right now, or you're thinking about creating content right now, is a really good time to go all in, because your
Mm.
YouTube channel is going to grow immensely, tremendously, as word spreads about what we do right now, and you can look at that as a very wise investment for your future as well.
Well, you can just look at the Telegram channel, right? And look at the PulseChain Telegram channel. Was it 60,000 now or more?
Yeah, 62, 63, I think.
Yeah. So as RH says, not everyone gets Hex, but most people get PulseChain, cheaper, faster, more efficient version of Ethereum. So
Yeah, they don't have to understand it. They just have to use the tokens on it. So that's the advantage.
So what do you think the ecosystem looks like 3 months after launch? Do you think there's, obviously we're going to have hexagons and pulsecons there from day one, but how busy do you think it looks?
Depends. It depends which chains decide that they want to take the leap first. Okay. Are we going to have people from the NFT world say, hey, listen, this makes a whole lot of financial sense for us to come over? Are we going to have people from Polygon Matic? Are we going to have people from Link? Are we going to have people from whatever, it just all depends. Right now, we just don't have a lot of projects that have committed to jumping on PulseChain because of the herd mentality, in my opinion. The other thing that needs to be said too is PulseChain is a brand new chain. We would like to think that PulseChain is going to operate flawlessly, but the fact of the matter is we don't know. We think it will based on track record and history. But if I'm thinking that, of course, other people who have a lot of money or a lot of influence or a lot of pull are going to think that too. It happens with Bitcoin. It happens with Ethereum. People don't like to jump into things unless it's a quote unquote sure thing.
Sure.
And people forget about that. So with myself, I've trained myself psychologically after a lot of trauma and a lot of damage and a lot of losses to say, I can put a little bit of money in at first. I don't have to risk the whole stack. And then I can DCA in, and that works for me. That works perfectly for me, because I cannot throw away the opportunity of being in on day one. But people with a lot more money, like 1% is $100 million. That's a problem for them, So they're not gonna risk that the way I would risk that. So here in about 3, 6, 12 months, whatever, it just depends. Who is the first person that's going to jump in? Who is the first person? It's all going to depend on how flawlessly PulseChain is launched and executed, I think.
I mean, I completely agree with what you just said there. Also, we've seen BSC, be successful to an extent, right? At one point, it was having more volume than Ethereum, I think last year. I know that it's got its issues, and it's obviously got a lot of, questionable projects on there. But, if they can do it, PulseChain can do it. But like you said, people need to see it working up and running.
Yeah, they do. That's common sense. They got to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be maybe a slow for a bit, and then suddenly once someone comes in. What's also interesting though is, there is smart money obviously in the ecosystem already. The Genesis whale, you've got big whales obviously sacrificing for Pulse and PulseX. So I'm sure if people, with half a brain do a bit of research and see that. But again, a lot of the crypto community are they're kind of like got their blinkers on and they're watching kind of the furus, right? So
yeah, and I can't throw that away either. I know that there are people who've made a whole lot of money in crypto that learned the lesson that getting in soon is very, very important. So there's that side too. And that side is really, the quote unquote retail side is really what drives adoption initially. So I'm not going to throw that away. I hope that I hope that out of this video, people who are new just get the impression that like, hey, these opportunities don't come along for people who don't have big stacks. Think about all the whitelisting that goes on in crypto at large. You got
Mm,
to be accredited. You got to have, 250K before you can get in, or whatever the case may be. And even then it turns into a lottery, or you got to be in a good old boys club. The neat thing about this is it's open to everybody. Everybody has this opportunity, and there's not a tremendous amount of people that know about it. So I think it's the best opportunity that has been around in the past, 10, 11 years other than Hex. And
mm,
you're getting not only the Pulse opportunity, you're getting the PulseX opportunity, and combined with PulseX, you're getting like a 2-for-1 because you get the incentive token as well. And then you
mm,
get liquid loans, and you got Hedron, you got the NFT folks, and then all the airdrops that are going to come from people who hold Pulse and hold this and hold that. It's huge, so
mm.
huge. I cannot say that enough. So I'm stoked.
Do you think one's gonna? I mean, obviously, the one will outdo the other in the short or long term. But PulseX, Hex, do you think is going to do well? Because we know Hex has been retarded on Ethereum due to the gas fees. Do you think now that there's going to be next to no gas fees, that it's going to start to rip?
I think it. I think it's gonna. I think Pulse. I think it's gonna rip. Pulse is a longer term play for me. I've said on stream that and I'm very conservative about how many X's we do.
Mm,
I think within a year to 18 months, if we're timed with if this is a bull market, we can easily do a 500 to 1,000X on Pulse. I really think that.
mm,
A lot of people say, well, that's low. Okay, that's fine. You can think that that's still a lot of freaking X's. Okay.
yeah.
Um, in terms of PulseX, you know, PulseX just by itself before this whole staking token, if it actually comes to fruition, um, it's tremendous by itself in that it's deflationary, in that a percentage of all fees are burned, in that we have also buy pressure from potentially the OA burning some of those tokens, some of those
Mm,
fees every day, every week, every 3 months, 6 months. So just by itself, its tokenomics are better than 90% of anything out there right now. Okay, so
yep.
that's cool. But also, if we have and deflationary, right? And also, if we do have that token, it's going to be huge too. I think that token, if it comes to fruition, could potentially offset the problems that we would have. Let me think about this. Yeah, it would offset the problems that other chains have in terms of sell pressure by
Mm,
giving that native token or whatever the case may be as the incentive. Because
yep.
that's separated, I'm pretty bullish on PulseX right now as well.
Sure.
I don't know where that's going to go though. I think that we both see serious appreciation at least within the first 24 months.
Mm.
500 to 1,000X for sure.
I mean, it gets more exciting every day. Like you said, new stuff's coming out with this possible staking, getting the incentive token. And why not? I mean, we've seen stuff like sushi and cake do pretty well, right? And what do they do? Nothing, right?
They don't have what's going on. Yeah, and they didn't. I did a video. They didn't have the adoption that we're going to have
Mm,
in terms of wallets on day one. And I think I was looking at I think I was looking at Cake. I think we on day one we're going to have at least double the wallets that Cake had, double or triple it might be.
mm,
So that's going to be important too. It's all about adoption, and it's all about getting in the bull market because the cool thing is volume is just going to it's going to multiply the effects of what's going on, right?
mm,
So we've got a coin that without volume, it's still going to pump. Okay, it's still going to grow,
mm.
but with volume, that's going to be a massive multiplier. So
Yeah,
that's why in the height of the bull market, it's going to be huge, especially if we have adoption from other chains, people coming over, people trading, doing what they do on Binance Smart Chain, et cetera. It's going to be huge.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just, even like you said, it's good to be conservative because you don't want to, overshoot stuff, but the
It's
possibilities are just
It's
exciting.
crazy for me to say 500 to 1,000X, and
Mm.
then it's good to be conservative, but it blows my mind.
Can you imagine if legacy finance guys were listening? They'd be like, what?
No,
They go,
and that's Dude, I was telling people I'm in a room with doctors. I'm in a room with lawyers. I'm in a room with accountants. The collective experience they have in the classroom and professionally is probably hundreds of years more than myself, but they don't know anything about crypto. And this little guy who barely graduated high school it's like the Smith and Wesson. When the handgun came out, it made every man equal. Well, it made me equal to everybody in that room. And that's the cool thing about crypto, man. You're right. These people hear these numbers, their minds are blown.
Yeah.
There's no way. It can't happen, Brandon. What are you talking about? And they never talk to me again. But then hopefully my net worth is 100 times their net worth pretty soon here.
Yeah, hopefully they see you in the Rolls-Royce Phantom, and then they know that it all worked out pretty well.
Absolutely.
So I think we touched on this a bit earlier, and we talked about, if you're going to get into content creation, now's a good time. What other advice would you have to people in the community to help, get the word out more on Pulse? Because it's just obviously not everyone's a content creator. Any ideas on that?
Yeah, I think so a lot of people get frustrated when they try to onboard people because a lot of people don't listen to them. And if you're so hyped internally about what's going on and you just want to get everybody involved, and you get really depressed when people tell you no or people look at you crazy. The thing about helping people out, don't focus too much time on trying to convince somebody unless they come to you and want to be convinced. Focus more time on spreading that net wider. Okay, so if you're going to do that in real life, cool, do that in real life. If you're going to do that online, the best way to spread that net is through content creation. The absolute best way to do this is to get on TikTok, get on, Facebook, get on YouTube, create your own channel and do that. It's just going to push things much better. You're going to reach a lot more people. Well, Brandon, I hate talking in front of camera. I hate talking in front of camera too, believe it or not. I really do.
Really?
I don't like it. I am a loner. I could live out in the woods and I couldn't talk to anybody for my whole life and I'd be pretty happy, believe it or not.
Wow.
Now I can talk to people. The camera is weird. It's a weird thing to wrap around your head, but
yeah,
you don't have to talk in front of camera. You can open up a subscription on canva.com and they have these, they've got this pre-cut content that you can drag and drop. You can put text on it. You can make 30-second videos about PulseChain and PulseX. You don't have to say a thing and you could put some nice music to it. You do that once a week. You do it 3 times a week. You could take clips of what we're doing right now, make your own YouTube channel and just repost clips about things that you like. It doesn't matter. You can do so much. It doesn't involve your face being on camera. And that's typically people's number one problem. So do as much as you can, scale it out with the internet, use the internet. That's the leverage.
Yeah. I think what you said there is really important. And this goes for anything in life. When someone is resistant to you about something, and the more you try to make them do it, the more they're going to dig their heels in. So, if you're trying to say to someone, listen, crypto's the new future and you have to get involved in this, and they're like, no, the more you go on at them, the more they're just going to be like, no way. So like you said, you need to use some emotional IQ and be like, okay, this is not right for this person. And then maybe spread the net wider, speak to more people and, feel out the room and see who's more open to it and who's not. And then go down that route. But like you said, you don't have to be on camera. Maybe if you're a writer, you could write blogs or take snippets of these and repurpose content. I think that's, that's a smart move for people that want to, do something, but don't want to come on live streams or make content or put their face out there.
You hit the nail on the head just now, by the way. We are growing so quick and so fast, and we've got such a good message. One of the things that we're missing the most is our writers and things on websites and articles, etc. For those of you who might be on the fence about this, or somebody who might be able to do it, create some type of news organization. Okay. And it's because if we do really gobble up all of this information, energy in crypto, we're going to need somebody that's telling the truth about what crypto really is. And we need news organizations. We need websites like that. And we don't have that really much at all. Howtopulse.com. I love those guys. That's awesome. I want to tailor it more towards news and daily happenings and have somebody that gives an honest opinion and they're not bought and paid for. Again, that's important. Don't be bought and paid for. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that like CoinDesk or any of these kind of like legacy crypto publications aren't going to give, Pulse and Hex a fair shout. So, I mean, what kind of annoys me about a lot of the crypto is it's mirrored the legacy finance system, right? Obviously, we know crypto started meant to be peer to peer without middlemen. But really what's happened is with the centralized exchanges and with these publications like Cointelegraph and Coindesk and all these things, it's kind of the same thing reincarnated. So like you said, if there's people out there who are more, they're more into the written word, they could write blogs on Medium or whatever. There's so many different ways to share content. It's not all about video content. Could be TikToks with not showing your face and putting text up there. So yeah, I think people should have a think about it. And remember, it helps if you're holding it as well. It's helping you. You're helping other people get the word out there, and obviously you're helping grow the whole ecosystem. So
yeah, it's all about intent with these news organizations that are existing right now. What's their intent? A lot of the intent of these folks is to monetize, make money as much as possible, and sell that company.
yeah,
And that's what it is. The hard part is to play the slow game. The slow game is truth. And at first, it's not going to be very fancy, and it's going to be a suck. It's going to be a grind. But if you keep telling the truth, you're going to pick up people who trust you, and they're going to trust you for life. You never have to worry about being number two. You never have to eventually. And you're going to shine above everybody else. So love it.
Yeah, man, if you're playing the long game in life, which you should be, right? Long-term thinking always wins, as we've been taught with delayed gratification and staking. And as RH says, delayed gratification is the common thread through all self-development and self-improvement. Then at first, yeah, you're not going to write an article or make a video and wake up and, be famous and have millions of followers. But like you said, you keep showing up, you have that authenticity, you have your own voice, and you're true to your word. You're not like a leaf in the wind trying to say one thing to please people this day and the next day, and you stick on that path, you'll get a following. And a loyal following of 1,000 people is much better than having 100,000 followers, but no one really cares about what you're saying.
Dude,
and
absolutely. For those of you who might be wanting to create, this is a really, really book. It's called Super Fans by Pat Flynn. All right.
I haven't read that. I'll have to pick that up.
Great book. It talks all about that. It talks about how you need to serve and provide for your community. And if you serve and provide for them, they'll serve and provide for you. It's not a one-way street.
100%. I mean, that goes for anything in life. If you've been around the block a few times like me, you'll know that life is about value exchange. You want win-wins in your life. You don't want win-losses and, vice versa. If someone's giving value on one side, you want to give value back. And why do the best content creators and, why do the best actors or whatever get so big? Because they're giving value and people see value in what they do. So yeah, always try and involve yourself in win-win interactions, and life will be a lot kinder to you.
Absolutely, man.
For sure. So what are your goals, man? What are your goals for 2022 and going forward?
Man, I am, I love crypto. I absolutely love it. I have seen a vision in my head of what crypto can do to serve the world at large in terms of freedom and liberty. Okay. I've got big plans. I've got, I want to affect things politically for the better, because I don't want Western countries to fall into the trap of becoming so complacent that they just get sucked up by bureaucracy. And that's very important to me, man. We are seeing this happen all over the world in many different ways. And I want to fight back against it. And that's very important to me. So I'll continue to create content, but I want to create content about the relevant happenings politically, the relevant happenings that apply to freedom and liberty around the world for everybody.
Yep. Well, we need more people like that, right? People who are authentic, people that, aren't getting caught up, because let's be honest, everyone's got their views, but what's happening in the West doesn't bode well, does it, for the future at the moment?
Yeah, it's so difficult for us too. It's so difficult for people who are sucked up in their day job and they're just doing everything they can to survive, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also difficult because we're in the West, for the most part, we're at least a couple generations removed from the consequences of being complacent. We haven't seen many wars on our own soil in a long time. Yep. We haven't seen these bad things happen. So for us, it's not real. Everybody thinks that history begins when they were born. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
So history is very, very important for everybody. Learn history. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of the books and a lot of the things that you have to read were probably written at least 20 years prior to now, because history is being skewed in a tremendous way. Okay, there's so much bias in history now, and it's horrible. So just I want to encourage people to take it more seriously. I know I hated history, but there's so much to learn from it. There's so much wisdom in it, and we gotta latch on to it so we're not doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like you said, I think everyone feels that, right? Because obviously what's everyone's favorite topic? What's everyone's center of the universe? Themselves, right? So
Right.
they think, oh yeah, history started when I was born in the 90s or the 80s or whatever. And it's just not the truth at all. And like you said, we haven't seen, I mean, our grandparents did, right? They saw World War II and stuff. Or but we haven't seen that. And
We
we haven't
haven't. We don't
seen
know. We're so detached, man.
mm,
We're
soft.
ideas are so communicable. They're the most
Mm,
communicable things for good and evil.
mm,
And these ideas are being passed and they're being modified, like the ideas that I don't really agree with. I don't think that are helping society. And it's, in my opinion, it's a ticking time bomb. And
mm,
it's a ticking time bomb because people don't understand that these processes, they've already played out in the past. Like, I know where we are right now. I know where
mm.
we might go, and I, I don't want that to happen. So yeah, you got to learn it.
Spreading freedom and truth, man. That sounds good. It sounds like a good cause, and it's a good purpose to have, to get up and empower people, and give them hope, because it's quite easy if you watch the mainstream news. Hopefully no one who's watching this stream watches the mainstream news, but it's quite easy, isn't it, to get quite nihilistic when you see some of that crap.
Yeah, because you feel like you don't have control.
Mm,
Now that's by design,
yeah.
because you do have control. If you want to change a man who wishes to change the world must first change himself, or first must move himself. I think that was Socrates, and that's so important.
Mm,
You can't get so downtrodden, and because you got to understand that what you're listening to and what's being transmitted to your ears, that's by design to make you feel a certain type of way. Okay.
mm,
And what you need to do is latch on to lessons of the past to see what's really happening, because there's nothing new in the world anymore. There are very, very few innovative ideas. It's all rinse and repeat,
yeah.
or it's just improved upon. So all this has happened before. What you're feeling right now is the same thing that people have felt in the past. So you got to educate yourself. Knowledge is paramount. Knowledge
Mm.
is the thing that will deliver you from that feeling of despair. And you just can't believe that stuff that's coming to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got to be an independent thinker, and that goes for crypto, for your health and fitness, for your relationships, for the way that you want to set up your own personal philosophy in life. It's very easy to, hand your brain over to society or the groupthink culture. But I think a lot of people in crypto, and I'm sure we're on the same wavelength, we got in it. Of course, we're here for financial gain and to better our lives and like everyone else, but also the freedom, not having to answer to the man, and being able to do peer-to-peer transactions and what's not. So I
Sure.
feel that's
So
a common
what's your
thread.
heritage? What's your ethnicity?
So I'm from the UK, born and raised here. My mother's English and my father's Chinese. So
Your
I'm
father's
mixed.
Chinese.
Yeah.
So I'm a white male. I should hate you, right? Right. But that's what they want.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about crypto? I don't care what your color is. I don't care what your gender preference is, and I never have. Nobody ever has. They
Hmm.
make it seem like that's something that's there. The cool thing about our community, we don't give a damn.
Hmm.
We are bonded together by purpose. And when you're
Hmm.
bonded together by purpose, nothing else matters.
Sure.
When you do go to war, when a country goes to war, miraculously everything fades away because everybody's all about survival, right? They've got a
Hmm.
common purpose. Our common purpose is to thrive and make the world a better place. That's what we
Hmm.
are. We don't care about anything else. We never have. That's why you can't listen to them. You can't listen. Doesn't matter. It's trash. It's BS. They're driving wedges in between us, and it's classism. Hate it. Disgusting. So yeah.
100%, dude. Like, I've lived around the world. I was born in the UK, but I've lived in Asia for over 10 years. I've spent a lot of time in the States, on the West Coast. And, of course, there's good and bad people everywhere, but on the whole, don't care what color you are. Most people are the same, right? They want to better themselves. They want to, provide for their family. They want to be happy and healthy. And, yeah, just most people are want to go towards a better future, and they want to work hard. And with crypto and stuff like this, it's possible. And like you said, it's much better to unite and work towards a common goal of making the world better and getting involved in those win-wins. And that's why I like the PulseChain community, because it's a lot more mature. There's a lot more people trying to help each other and have that win-win interaction. So I think, like you say, when people discover this and they see the authenticity of it all, it's going to be quite a special time.
They're
for
not
sure.
used to it, man. The past, you go all the way back to the 70s, 60s and 70s where really these things started bubbling up. There's generations of kids right now, born, at least let's say born after 1990, that don't understand what life is like without racial, sexual, all sorts of division. Because that didn't happen in my household when I was a kid. That never came. It was like, I didn't understand any of that. My family didn't treat anybody differently. Like, we didn't care. A lot of people have not ever seen that. And that's what's cool about this community, because we don't give a damn about any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. We are the definition of loving thy neighbor. That's what we are, with no strings attached. So, and we need to keep that. I would encourage people, if you see that stuff kind of permeating in, fight back and say, that's not how we do things here. It's on merit. It's on character, really, not the lip service.
100%, man. It's all about, we live in a meritocracy, right? And if you're good at what you do and you provide value, and like we said, life is a value exchange, whether you're in a marriage or whether you work for a company or whatever, as long as you're providing value to society and to the PulseChain community or whatever, then who cares about your color, your gender, your sexual preference? It's irrelevant. It's just stupid.
Everybody, it's not just about crypto, guys. Crypto is awesome. The money is cool. But you got to understand what we have here is special, because it's like a Ford operating base in the middle of a very, very tragic and crazy world. And we have our own little piece of paradise right here, and we have the opportunity to grow it, and we have the resources to grow it now. So let's keep growing it out and spreading that message. And don't let people divide you up. It's not freaking worth it. It's all BS. It's lies. We don't hate each other. But there are very powerful ways to convince people that you do. And like I said, ideas are very communicable, both bad and good. And there's a lot of bad ideas that are spreading out there, and we need to be that light for people.
100%, man. What a message, right? Well, listen, dude, this has been amazing. Thanks so much for coming onto the stream. What a place to end it. Everyone hearing that message it's truth. Unite, help each other. Let's all, work towards that win-win. Where can people find out more about you and, shill your YouTube channel and everything?
I don't know if I want to, bro. I don't know. You can check me out at Rags to Riches Fam on Twitter. And then, you can check me out on YouTube. Don't help the YouTube algorithm. I don't care if you guys comment, like, or subscribe, but I am at Rags to Riches. You can just Google Rags Riches Crypto and you'll find me on YouTube.
Wicked, man. Well, thanks. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your content. And this has been great coming on here, man, talking everything from crypto to adoption and freedom.
Yeah. Can I shout some people out real quick?
Go for it.
Yeah. So, Benny Blanco, man, thanks for supporting me. At Saki, thank you guys for supporting me. Eroy Slade, thank you guys for supporting me. Terrafin, you low down dirty son of a gun, thanks for supporting me. Sandy Beach, Completion Fails, so many more guys, but I appreciate it. Just want to shout you guys out.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for coming on, and you'll have to come on soon again. And when PulseChain goes live, we'll catch up and see what the market and everything's looking like then.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Be good, bud.
Guys, what an amazing interview. Brandon dropping the knowledge and the truth bombs for everyone. And the amount of people that are live right now, over 150 watching, it shows how many fans that he has, and hopefully that the Liquid Loans channel now has. Guys, if you do like this content, the daily content that we're putting out, do hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new videos. You can also tap the like button, share the video with friends and family or someone who you think it may benefit. And if you're watching the playback, you can also drop a comment down below. It does help us out for the algo. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your time, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.